Welcome back to Reds Fusion LFC. Today we dive into the biggest shockwave to hit Liverpool this season. Mohamed Salah, yes, the king of the cop himself, has been left out, dropped, and is now at the center of a storm that could change everything at Anfield. With reports of a sealed fate and a growing rift, the drama is unfolding fast. Stay locked in. This is a story every Liverpool fan needs to hear. Mohamed Salah gives clear signal that Liverpool fate is sealed as agreement reached Liverpool star. Mohamed Salah delivered a scathing post-match interview after being benched for 3 games in a row, and his bombshell claims have thrown the club into a fresh nightmare. Liverpool have been thrown into fresh chaos after Mohamed Salah unleashed his frustrations in an extraordinary off-the-cuff interview on Saturday night, ramping up speculation that his time with the club is coming to a bitter end. The Egyptian king, who has faced criticism for rarely speaking to the media, didn't hold back with his views on the current state of play, admitting he currently has no relationship with manager Arne Slot. Speaking after the Premier League, champions were held to a 3-3 draw away to Leeds United. He even accused Liverpool of breaking promises and throwing him under the bus by using him as a scapegoat for their recent slump in form. Clearly frustrated after being stuck on the bench for 3 games in a row, the 33-year-old admitted that he is hurt by the current situation and doesn't feel he has to earn his place in the starting lineup. Given his long-standing contributions to the club, he spent Sunday speaking to his agent about his future, with the January transfer window suddenly looming large. Salah also made a cryptic remark about protecting players. Amidst the whole squad's deep grief over the sudden death of Diogo Jota, "I'm very disappointed, to be fair. I have done so much for this club. Everybody can see that during the years and especially last season," he said, sitting on the bench. "I don't know why. It seems like the club has thrown me under the bus. That's how I feel. I think it's very clear that someone wants me to get all the blame. The club promised me in the summer for a lot of promises, and nothing so far. I'm on the bench 3 games, so I can't say that they keep the promise. I said that many times before. I had a good relationship with the manager, and all of a sudden we don't have any relationship. I don't know why. It seems to me, how I see it, that someone doesn't want me in the club. But again, this club, I always support it. My kids will always support it. I love the club so much, and I will always do." I called my mum, and I told her too. "Come to the Brighton game. It doesn't matter if I play or not. I'm going to enjoy it." Decoding Salah's bombshell interview, body language expert Judy James told the Mirror. Salah's projected social signals here suggest a desire to appear accessible and personable, as though relating his crisis to close friends rather than the press. The clue to this state is his smile, which is an ongoing trait even when it is contradictory or incongruent to his words. It shows an attempt to appear stoic and likable. When he says, "I'm very disappointed," the smile is there in place, although it would be analyzed as a misery smile, i.e., one that is usually performed in a bid to appear brave in the face of adversity. There are also more dramatic non-verbal moments where he gives a glimpse of completely opposite emotions. When he stops smiling here, we can see an emphatic and rather painful-looking poking of his left eye with his fingers, followed by a downward dragging of the skin. This would suggest emotional exhaustion, or even a self-attack ritual where someone attacks themselves, usually by nail or lip biting, because they can't launch an attack on the person giving them grief. There is a wry, mirthless laugh when he speaks about being on the bench for 3 games, the expert revealed. And when he talks about his relationship with the manager, his gestures go from a reflective-looking wiping of his beard and downward gaze to a more dramatic, "I don't get it," which comes with a sudden rise in his vocal tone as he squeezes his eyes shut and shakes his head in an expression of pain. Looking ahead to Liverpool's next game against Brighton on Tuesday, Salah told reporters, "We'll see what's going to happen. But in my head, I'm going to enjoy that game if I play or not. If I'm on the bench or not, because I don't know what's going to happen now. I'm just going to be in Anfield. Say goodbye to the fans. Go to the Africa Cup of Nations because I don't know what's going to happen when I'm there." Liverpool trio absent from training as Mohamed Salah to miss Inter Milan. Mohamed Salah was spotted in Liverpool training on Monday, but 3 of his teammates were absent. Liverpool trio Cody Gakpo, Wataru Endo, and Federico Chiesa were all absent from open training on Monday as attention focused on the presence of Mohamed Salah. the Egyptian did train with his Reds teammates at Kirkby before they jet off to Milan for Tuesday's Champions League clash with Inter, but the three players were conspicuous by their absence, despite all three being in the squad for Saturday's 3-3 draw at Leeds United. Forward Gakpo started the match at Elland Road, before being substituted for Endo in the 83rd minute, while Kisa was an unused substitute despite taking part in Monday's session. The Athletic report that Salah is not expected to feature for Liverpool in Italy after his weekend outburst over his treatment from Arne Slot following 3 successive absences from the starting sheet-out should Gakpo and Kisa miss the trip to Inter, along with Salah. Liverpool will be left extremely light in attacking resources, with only Hugo Ekitike, Alexander Isak, and youngster Rio Ngumoha available to call upon as conventional attackers. Jerry Meaf, who has started on the right of Liverpool's attack this season when Salah has been left out, is still absent with a hamstring injury. Liverpool will name their traveling squad for the Inter Milan clash later on Monday afternoon, before Slot will face a press conference at the San Siro this evening, when the Reds' boss is certain to face several questions about the future of Salah, who called his own future at the club into question with his words after the draw with Leeds. "I could not believe I was sitting on the bench for 90 minutes, said Salah. "That's the third time. It's the first time in my career, I think. I am very disappointed. I have done so much for this club over years, especially last season. It seems like the club has thrown me under the bus. That's how I feel about it. Someone wants me to get all the blame. The club promised me a lot in summer. Now I'm on bench, so I can say they haven't kept those promises. I used to have a good relationship with Slot. Now we don't have any relationship, and I don't know why. Seems like someone does not want me in the club. I called my mom and dad and told them to come to the Brighton game. It doesn't matter if I play or not. I'm going to enjoy it. I am just going to be at Anfield and say goodbye to the fans before the African Cup of Nations, because I don't know what is going to happen when I am there. It's not acceptable to me, to be fair. If I was somewhere else, every club would protect its players. Now, it's throw Mo under the bus, because he is a problem in a team." Mohamed Salah left OUT of Liverpool squad for Inter Milan as Reds' future in more doubt. Mohamed Salah has been omitted from the Liverpool squad to take on Inter Milan. Salah has been left out of Liverpool's 19-man squad for the Champions League clash at Inter on Tuesday evening, casting further doubt over his long-term future at ANFIELD. Salah took part in the open training session at the AXE Training Center on Monday morning in preparation for the trip to Italy. However, the Egyptian was not on the flight that jetted out for Milan later in the afternoon, as the fallout from his explosive interview at the weekend continues. The Echo understands. Liverpool have chosen to remove Salah from the squad for a short period, with the decision taken by the club in consultation with and with the full support of head coach Arne Slot. It's believed the Reds regard a brief period away from selection being in the best interests of the club, the squad, and the player at the moment. Salah, though, has not been disciplined by the club, with the decision related solely to squad selection. The 33-year-old claimed he had been thrown under the bus by Liverpool and that his relationship with Slot had broken down completely after being named substitute for the third game in succession at Leeds United at the weekend. Salah now has only one match in which he could feature, against Brighton at home in the Premier League on Saturday, before he joins up with Egypt to prepare for the Africa Cup of Nations, and given the January transfer window will have opened by the time Salah is scheduled to return, there is a possibility he could have already played his last game for Liverpool should his situation be deemed irretrievable and a departure deemed the best for all parties. The Saudi Pro League are understood to be on standby, having long courted the player's signature, with Cody Gakpo and Federico Chiesa having also not been included. Salah's absence leaves Slot short of recognized attacking options for the game against Inter, who were last season's beaten Champions League finalists. Strikers Alexander Isak and Hugo Ekitike and 17-year-old winger Rio Ngumoha are the only other forwards to have senior minutes this season. Although Dominic Szoboszlai and Florian Wirtz couple also be employed in the forward line, midfielder Endo, who like Gakpo and Chiesa missed Monday's training session, has also failed to make the journey. It means the squad is bolstered by teenage midfielder Trainioni and defender Welody Lucky. Liverpool squad. Alisson, Gomez, Van Dijk, Konet, Szoboszlai, Isak, McAllister, Bradley Jones, Iketik Mamardashvili, Robertson, Woodman, Gravenberch, Nioni and Gumoha, Lucky.
Mohamed Salah dropped from Liverpool Champions League squad as Arne Slot takes action. The Liverpool star has been excluded from the travelling squad that flew to Italy for the Champions League encounter against Inter Milan, despite training with the squad earlier on Monday. Mohamed Salah has been omitted from Liverpool's Champions League squad to face Inter Milan following his explosive comments on Saturday, when he criticised the club and head coach Arne Slot. The winger claimed in an extraordinary tirade after the 3-3 draw at Leeds United that he had been thrown under the bus by the club, and added that certain figures wanted him out of Liverpool. That came on the back of a third successive match in which Salah started on the bench. That won't be the case at the San Siro, however, with the Egyptian left out altogether from the travelling party. The update comes after Salah trained with the team on Monday, a few hours before the majority of the players flew to Italy. Liverpool.com understands the decision was made by club executives, in consultation with Slot. While no disciplinary action has been taken against Salah, the club feels a period away from the first-team action is best for all parties. That puts Salah's involvement against Brighton and Hove Albion into doubt. Liverpool's number 11 hinted in that bombshell interview that it could be his final game before departing to team up with the Egypt squad ahead of the African Cup of Nations. Slot confirmed last week that Salah was due to depart Liverpool on December 15. It is unclear if that is still the plan. Meanwhile, Wataru Endo, Cody Gakpo and Federico Chiesa, who all missed training on Monday, were absent from the travelling squad that flew to Milan. With Salah also excluded, that leaves Liverpool with a significant selection issue in the wide areas. Rion Gumoha is only natural winger named in the 19-man squad. Dominic Szoboszlai and Hugo Ekitike will most probably start in those positions in what is a crucial game for Liverpool's chances of securing an automatic qualification spot in the Champions League. The Reds currently sit a point outside the top 8 places after that disastrous defeat against PSV Eindhoven last time out. Slot will provide a further update on Salah, Endo, Gakpo and Chiesa from the San Siro, where he is due to speak to the media alongside Alisson. Liverpool travelling squad: Alisson, Gomez, Van Dijk, Konaté, Kerkez, Wirtz, Szoboszlai, Isak, McAllister, Bradley, Jones, Ekitike, Mamardashvili, Robertson, Woodman, Gravenberch, Nioni, Gumoha, Lucky.